lot of things have changed in the past 3 years in the EUC world. Wheels have gotten larger, more powerful, faster, and of course more expensive.
More money?
But one thing that hasn't changed is the excitement and anticipation that comes with Veteran Leaperkim's flagship wheel, the Sherman. And this week, with the announcement of the next brand new entry in the long line of Sherman.
Good news, everyone!
Let's talk about the Sherman L. Roll the intro. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and help spread the uni gospel. The Sherman S was first announced in August of 2022, a very different time for EUC, with the first 134-volt BGO Master just starting to make waves with its, at the time, amazing top speed of 50 miles per hour, and Hsiang S22 still trying to recover from the disastrous fire here in New York City with promises and a name change. And let's not forget that there were plenty of doubts as to Veteran's ability to replicate the success they had with the Sherman. Consider the setback they had suffered just a year prior with the Veteran Abrams, a release that had gone so badly that they're still trying to forget it to this day. And up until that point, Veteran Leaperkim had not released a suspension-equipped electric unicycle, and consider that many of their competitors at that time is already working on the second to third iteration of their suspension design. The Veteran Sherman S really had an uphill battle to prove itself, especially considering its, at the time, outrageous price of $4,000. And we all know how the Sherman S turned out. It introduced what is arguably one of the best suspension implementation of any electric unicycle, till even now, 2 years later, it was powerful, fast, fun to ride, and more importantly, re-established Veteran Leaperkim's reputation as the leader of high-performance EUCs. With one major downside, the Sherman S at 100 volt had a lower top speed as compared to competitions of 126 and 134 volt electric unicycle such as the BGO Master and the Hsiang S22 that was already available on the market. It was a bet that Veteran Leaperkim had made that their core customer base care more about design and build quality than top speed and price. And they were proven right as the Sherman S turns into an all-time bestseller for them. And it's been 2 years since, with Leaperkim having successfully released 2 more hits, the 126-volt 16-inch patent and the 151-volt 20-inch Lynx. This time, the Sherman L launched to a very different set of expectation, and in many ways, it's more like a victory lap for Leaperkim, considering the dominating position they have achieved in the EUC market. Not having ridden the wheel just yet, hopefully soon, given Leaperkim's track record, I have little doubt that A, it will ride beautifully, and B, it will sell even better. But I do have to confess that a part of me is slightly disappointed, since the Sherman L to me have been the least exciting new wheel launch from Veteran Leaperkim since, I don't know, the Sherman Max. Up until this point, every single new Veteran Leaperkim wheel had introduced something revolutionary. The original Sherman brought forth a brand new EUC company, and the Abrams, the revival of the 22-inch EUC form factor. It didn't quite work out, but then you have the original Sherman S, which introduced hydraulic suspension design and the patent, which kick off the 126-volt high-voltage 16-inch electric unicycle craze. And finally, most recently, the Lynx has introduced a 151-volt electrical system, progressive hydraulic shocks, and a lighter all-magnesium design that significantly reduced wheelbase. Each of these innovations represented a leap of faith on the part of Leaperkim, and sometimes, such as in the case of Abrams, things do not work out in their favor, and it is the price you pay in order to help advance the development of electric unicycle ever further. And coming back to the Sherman L, I had to ask, what advances does this wheel bring to the table? It is true that its lightweight magnesium build ensure that its weight remains similar to that of the Sherman S, despite the slightly 10% larger battery pack. But that's a design and material usage we have already seen with the Lynx. And similar to that wheel, the Sherman L also used the same 151-volt electrical architecture with the same free spin speed of 125 km/h, which means that we can already guess that its top speed is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 mph, same as the Lynx. As a matter of fact, the only difference between the Lynx and the Sherman L is a 30% increase with battery size and, well, a slightly different design shell. And no, Leaperkim aren't really obligated to create something revolutionary every time they release a brand new wheel. And some enthusiasts may even argue that we had already achieved peak electric unicycle and that there's really not much you can do to make this any better. A view that strangely seems to be shared by some of Leaperkim's main competitors, since they have taken to release their own electric unicycle models that seems to closely resemble the Lynx and the Sherman L. Not unreasonable considering how well Leaperkim wheels has been selling. And that may be a good or bad thing depending on what it is you're looking for. If you're in the market for a 60 mph capable high-performance electric unicycle with premium build qualities and don't mind the larger size, heavier weight, and of course can't afford to spend $5,000 on acquiring your dream wheel, then you are in luck since you have a lot of choices. There is the Lynx and the new Sherman L from Leaperkim, and ET Max, GT Pro, and the Commander L from Beggo/Extreme Bull, and the F22 from Hsiang. It's like everyone and their mom all getting in on the action except for Emotion, that is. I wonder. And I know there's much grumbling in the EUC community about this ever larger, heavier, and pricier future that we all seems to be heading towards. But the unavoidable truth is that the only reason why all the companies seems to be focusing on the premium high-performance market is that these are the wheels that we are buying. And since I doubt very few brand new riders are starting out with an expensive high-performance wheel, I may be wrong, but $4,000 seems like a lot of money for you to spend on something you're not quite sure you actually like. So I imagine that the majority of the sales are still for existing EUC riders looking to upgrade to a larger and more powerful wheel, which is also fine, except that it means that we as a community aren't really growing. Without new riders, there are only so many wheels people will want to buy, especially if there aren't something significantly different with the new release. Like if you already own the Lynx, then it seems kind of difficult for you to justify spending another $5,000 on a brand new electric unicycle when all that you get is 1,000 watt-hour worth of additional battery pack and more range. It really feels like the development of electric unicycle have stagnated over the past year. Yes, there are a few more budget-friendly new releases like the Beggo Falcon or the Hsiang S16. However, they all feel like stripped-down version of the same high-end wheels with reduced performances, but all for the same generic riding purposes, just not quite as good at it.
Well, we've got something almost as good.
And that lack of unique character and purposes make these new wheels feel much less interesting and exciting, and as a result, less attractive to potential new riders. When you think of motorcycles, there are a variety of categories. You have sports bikes, cruiser, touring, adventure, all with their own distinctive looks and features that both visually express their purpose and are designed with features that support their use, such as the longer suspension travel on the off-road bikes. And you'll find similar things with many other transport categories categories like bicycle or cars. You can strap your mountain bike to your off-road 4x4s. The Sherman L, for instance, with its 4,000 watt-hour battery pack is, I assume, designed for long-range ride, which would explain the L moniker. However, aside from that NIN and the larger battery pack, I can't really seem to find any particular feature that is designed to help facilitate long-range ride. Things like, I don't know, a headlight with low and high beam to help with high-speed riding at night, or even things like a stock seat that come with the wheel rather than being something you have to buy aftermarket. With performance gap narrowing between each new models and most of the companies out of the race for ever higher top speed, there really should be more focus on ride style features that specifically support the activity the wheel is marketed to do. One of my greatest fear on longer distance rides are a pop tube that would require a tire swap. EUC designed to accommodate easy and fast wheel access that could be done in the wild and on the side of a road would be a huge asset, and I can think of many other features that would be helpful. And I think a pivot to ride and lifestyle focused wheel is crucial if the EUC companies would like to continue to see the market grow.
The military authority.
Body vibrating. What's that sound? Vibrating. What's that sound? Body vibrating. What's that sound? What's that sound? Now, body vibrating. What's that sound? Vibrating. What's that sound? Body vibrating. What's that sound? What's that sound? Now.
So what do you think? What would make you excited about new electric unicycle, and does the Sherman L do it for you? Well, that is what the comment section below is for. And you know what? Once again, I ramble on too long and somehow managed to waste another 15 minutes of your life, but I hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to my supporter on Patreon. Please check out the link in the video description below if you enjoy and like to support my work. And as always, as much as we all love electric unicycle, the only way for us to get better wheel is to grow as a community. So tell your friend, teach them how to ride, and get them hooked. Until the next video, thank you.
All these sounds are guiding me to step into the higher me, higher me. All these sounds are guiding me to step